Good morning and happy December, and welcome to December's Easy Talks with myself, Zendalannette, the Z of Easy, and my sis.
Erica, the E.
Happy Wednesday. Happy Wellness Wednesday, sis. How are you over in KZoo?
I'm well. Let's talk about that view. Where you at though, SS?
It's nice. I'm grateful. Speaking like a true Floridian, it's a little cold. I'm in
Stop
my
it right
sweater.
now. Meanwhile, it's 29 degrees, snow on the ground, cloudy skies, but still blue
The
skies.
50s, and it's a little chilly, but again, I'm able to sit outside. I'm grateful. Have my little Uggs on and my Santa Claus socks, still in the holiday
Aw.
spirit. But
Okay,
yeah,
yoga, you better come through lifting that leg up there like that. SS.
I know, couldn't do it a
Just
while
threw that
ago.
thing. Just threw that thing in the air. Hey.
Bam!
Don't hurt him now. You know your hubby back there. Don't get in trouble while we easy.
She's so crazy, I know, right?
Like, what is her leg doing up like that? All on the video.
Am I seeing the socks? Because it's a little bit. It's funny. My mom went to the store and she was like, "Okay, I'll be right back." I said, "Look at you in your winter jacket."
Wow. I love it though. I mean, I'm here for it. That's the thing about different climates, all of that. Like,
Yes, I'm grateful though. Like through it all, I'm grateful. I just did a when we talked earlier, and you're like, "Are you sick?" I'm like, "No." Girl still had one of the biggest release doing my Reiki today. It was a release for this last about 9 year cycle that we're closing. Um, and literally, it was a guided meditation, and then all of a sudden, just tears started from 2017 all the way to 25, and in each of the years it talked about or it made space where she offered to think about yourself in that season, in that
mm,
year, and like what do you need to let go of, what's holding you back, and transmuting it all for your highest and best, but just to have that, like, to go to 2017 and like, oh, and she's, facilitated like during that time, that was a time where you were making decisions and things were changing. And that was literally the year I found out that my office was going to close, and I made that decision that I wasn't leaving and that God was going to direct the path of whatever else would be. And I feel like that was my first initial surrender, if you will.
mm.
So it started to get through 18 and 19. So as I was going through the years, I was like, oh my God. And literally just so my mom was in the kitchen cooking breakfast. Mario came out to warm up his coffee. And I'm still fully present in meditation, but I know they were just like, but I think they're used to me doing what I do because I'm a center and ground wherever I am. But the tears were just like, so it was really, really good. So yeah.
Yay. I love that for you. Yes. All
So
right.
how are
Well,
you? Let's get it going. Let's go.
yeah, I was like, let's talk about our year in review.
Hmm.
So literally when we jumped on the Zoom, I went to Chantel and I was like, hey, it's December 2025. Let's easy. So she has three questions for us. We'll see if we get through all three. We're gonna go
Okay.
with flow, and just see where it leads us. So her first question for us is, when you look back on this year, what moment, big or small, quietly changed you, even if no one else noticed?
Mm. Gosh, she getting deep right in there. And
I,
I gotta
you
be
know,
real
you
about
already know how
it.
Chantel do what she do when she do what
I
she do.
know. So the moment that changed me was the moment when an event happened in my life, in my marriage, that caused my husband and I to live apart. And in that moment, and as I'm working on my next book, that moment is riddled with and is centered in me choosing me indirectly but directly, and in me choosing me, um, from a healing, evolving, and a releasing standpoint that impacted to my marriage and how it's rippled and helped heal and evolve our marriage to where we are today as we end the year. We were nowhere near where we were today. And it took all of those things, that one instance that, and impacted not just me and the family, but the kids and all of us. But that one decision to say, you know what, it was one of those surrenders, like I give up. But in that give up, it really wasn't that I'm giving up. I didn't know it at the time. It was, I am healing your marriage. I am separating you both physically so that you can do your work and you can individually see me, see God. And so you can allow me to work on you and unfold and show you things that you wouldn't have seen had we stayed in that dysfunctional space.
Mm.
So that's one of the biggest moments, one of many, right? So that was one of the biggest moments that impacted 2025 for me, for us. And I look at us now and the level of intimacy, not just physically, because that's great too and better than it's ever been, but the mental intimacy, that emotional intelligence, the ability to have the hard conversations that used to be hard to even to broach, but that organically, when egos aside, when pride's aside, humility and grace in full throttle, we've been able to allow those as we make space for each other by taking care of ourselves, right? Being the first to put you first, and of each of us, respectively, we've been able to have conversations like deep ones and like adding the four agreements to it. So when we're having those discussions, being emotionally intelligent enough to sense where each other are and remembering, like, to remind each other, like, hey, don't take this personal, babe. I'm being impeccable with my word, my thoughts, and actions, but this is for our highest and our best. But if it's not a good time, we can walk away, but let's get it. And so we've been able to do that by applying those and even reframing negative thought processes in that like mindset. Those are all things that that very moment in December 2024, right? As we broach 2025 is when it all started, has literally transformed our marriage and ourselves, um, trusting that it's going to transform our entire familial unit. So, yeah,
Mm. Thank you for your willingness to share that, sis.
absolutely. And I've never shared that publicly, I don't think.
And here we are. It was time.
Yeah.
Um, for me, the moment that um that surfaced when that question was asked was for me also in January. There was an event that took place here in my home, right there in the kitchen, with my oldest son and my husband. Um, that resulted in my oldest son no longer living here, um and at mom's, and that has rippled through the whole year, um and has changed life for me as I knew it. I, since the time I was a little girl, always wanted kids. And, one of my driving factors was to give my kids a life that I never had, show up for them in ways that I felt like I wasn't ever shown up for. Um, and to just give them things, like I said, that I never had. And so, due to certain things that happened in my youth. At one point, I was told I didn't know if I'd be able to have kids, if I'd be able to carry the term, all of these things. And so having Pooh was like, he was like my miracle baby. And during my pregnancy, like I was so excited. I mean, I did all the things. I took the pictures of my baby bump growing. One of the picture frames has that first picture. It was just something that I wanted so deeply and so badly. And I did all of the preparing, I used to talk to her, just all of the things. And from the moment I mean, from the birthing process, my due date was December 12th. I was induced for about 5 days. It was a very tumultuous induction process. The way that he came out, fists in the air, cord wrapped around his neck. And from the moment we brought him home, and the colic and the acid reflux, and just all of the preparation that I did not prepare me for his arrival. Um, Having a baby like him was not in any of the textbooks. I was completely thrown off guard. And he has been one of my biggest teachers over the last 14 years. And so this experience in January and this rippling, I had an idea of what it would be like to be a mom, the type of mom I would be. And this year I have been humbled. I have been brought to my knees. I am momming in a way that I never imagined. I have, and I feel emotion, and that gets to be okay, but I have been afforded the opportunity to give my parents and my mother grace, forgiveness for the judgment, because there's certain things life can never prepare you for. And this year of not having the access that I always thought I would have to my son, and court, and being in the middle of my husband and my oldest son, the battle, the war that his father wants to now create with me, custody, parenting time, my motherhood being questioned, um, being threatened of character assassination, and all of these things. And nothing could have prepared me for this. And so I am grateful um, for this experience, because my past has shown me that pain always holds purpose. And I don't know what the end result is going to be. Um, I don't know what's going to happen next year. Um, I don't know what's going to happen when my baby gets released from where he's at in February. And I'm dancing with the unknown. I'm dancing with fear. I'm dancing with conditioning and programming. And I'm fighting for my worth and my value, and not allowing what other people's definition of me, allowing it to define me. And I'm redefining. And I'm learning who I truly am. I'm listening to the voice of the Most High, and I'm remembering who and what I was created for. And I'm building relationship in a way that I never have, and it's very organic, with the Most High, who I call Doug's. I'm building my own unique relationship, and I trust today, and I have faith today. And again, I am so deeply humbled. Um, and I too have fallen on my knees at the end of this year when it comes to both mothering, which is something that I have always desired, and marriage, which is something that I have always desired. And neither of them have turned out the way that I A wanted, B thought, and C hope for. Um, and so now I'm here, like I said, surrendered and on my knees because I don't know where to go and I don't know what to do. Um, and so yeah, that is the moment that has kind of been a big part of my year. And like I said, I'm now here, knees down, hands up, um, and heart full though.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
because as dark as it is at the end of the year, um, I see specks of the light.
Mm-hmm.
And I trust again that this pain that is so deep, it holds purpose. And I might not know today, tomorrow, next week. Um, but no weapon formed against me shall prosper.
That part.
And he knows the plans that he has for me, and it's not to harm me. So I'm leaning into
Mm.
that again and again. But yeah,
And
I'm
then, and lean not to our own understanding, but in all
that
our
part,
ways acknowledge him,
that part.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where
Yeah.
we at.
That
So
faith walk.
question, that part. Question two, I feel like Chantel must have been down there in Naples because it says, what did this year ask you to release?
Mm.
Beliefs, roles, relationships, or versions of yourself? And how did that letting go reshape your capacity to receive? Like,
Mm.
Chantel, she is something else. I don't even,
Well, it's so interesting because I can respond to that in a myriad of ways. Restate that for me though, because my initial response took me somewhere. So will you read it again?
yeah, and I just want to say somebody just released their monthly 100th blog post, and it was all about releasing. So that's why I'm like,
Okay.
really, Chantel? Like, you, first of all, you must be diving in my emails because you saw my SS's blog post and you saw it pulled up because we read it. And like, this is what you've been talking about, like, when we have our private conversations, like, this is what you've been leaning into. So, again, what did this year ask you to release? Beliefs, roles, relationships, or versions of yourself? And how did that letting go reshape your capacity to receive?
Oh my gosh. So I'm gonna stick in that heart center. I'm gonna stick in that heart space of love. Okay. So for me, a little bit deeper than what I shared in my blog post, what is when I have been able to let go of control, let go of ego, let go of um, superiority from a stance of, and maybe that's not the right word, judgment. Um, and as I say that, also expectations of others, having expectations of others, trusting that they're doing their best. And more specifically, as I speak to the heart center, and we talk about, Chantel talks about the relationship aspect, one of the things that I've desired in a 26-year marriage was like for my husband to see me, for my husband to desire me, for my husband to unconditionally love me and to show up for me. Um, and what that looked like, I didn't know, but I had a feeling of what I desired. You can look at other things and other marriages and say, well, that. But understanding that we all have our respective journey, right? And what it looks like for you is going to be different for me and other people. But I did know that I wanted to get love, right? Um, from the man I said I do to. And the reality was, for many years in our marriage, we, and I think I blogged about this, we lived an invisible divorce, right? We were really occupying the same space, but we really weren't. We said, yeah, I love you, but in action, in deed, and showing up, that wasn't something that I experienced for years. So as I let go of control, as I honored being the first to put me first and taking care of me, showing my self love when I felt like I needed to get it from my spouse, understanding that I needed to first give it to myself so that I knew what it was that I got, what felt good, what I needed to be able to articulate how he could love me, what him seeing me felt like. Um, and so as I let go of ego and I let go of the control and I navigated living physically apart for the time that we, have, which is the over a year, having over a year, um, trusting, like truly, truly trusting flow and trusting that God is working everything out for my highest and my best, not just for me, but for everybody that I'm in line with, everybody that I'm connected to. And when I tell you, after 26 years, going into 27 years of marriage and a tumultuous year of like the beginning of the year, us not even knowing if we would be friends, to being in a space where when he looks at me, I feel his love. When he touches me, I feel his love. Um, when he listens to me in active conversations, engaging, when he's sharing his intimate thoughts and dreams, where it was a space where he's like, I don't have dreams, I'm not sure, blah, blah, blah. Seeing him reframe his thought processes and how he engages with me based off of how I first treat myself. So learning how to, again, and again, be the first to put you first in our ways and our ways, have the audacity to do that. Doing that for me showed him how to do it to me and for me, and also for himself. And so, in releasing all of the things and trusting flow and trusting God to be God, He has literally given me everything that I've desired in a marriage.
Mm.
The space, as far as the whole familial thing, structure, it's a matter of, the individual relationships healing, right? But before, and one of the things I've also learned in this year is that in order to heal your family, you first have to heal yourself. In order to heal your marriage, you first have to heal yourself. And as you heal yourself, and when it's a divine alignment, a marriage, because I mean, every marriage is may not work out. And that's not wrong, it's right. That's just reality, right? But taking my ego out and my standards and my expectations of what I needed him to do instead of me loving me and saying what I needed to do for me so that I can demonstrate that. And as I say that, I think about my design. Like at 6'2", that six is like role modeling. I'm role modeling for my husband how I need to be treated by first treating myself that way, having boundaries, being mindful of who I allow in our home, who I allow in our relationship, being silent, stop talking and listening or sharing when I'm navigating and what I'm going through to avoid the noise of others coming in and their input when the only input I need is God. So this year has been profound in a myriad of ways, and I even lost all of the parts of the question, I think, but man, trusting the unfolding. And it's interesting, I talked to a good friend of mine yesterday. She was my matron of honor at my wedding and my college roommate. And she was like, oh, wow, so you guys are, I was like, yeah, we're good. I said, it's been a lot of work and it'll continue to be a lot of work because I'm not the 19-year-old I was when he met, or the 25-year-old that I was when we were married. But the difference in me now and the difference in my process now is it's not just about mine. He's not the same person he was when we married. He's not the same person he was a year ago. Um, and allowing that same space for him to experience and to navigate and traverse with intentionality and heal and evolve. Um, and patience has been huge, right? Because everybody is not on the same space in the healing journey, but Again, with ego aside, shadow aside, pride aside, all of that release, making space for him to have that time to do it in that space, and for God to show us other aspects of people, places, and things that were also not conducive for our relationship, and being able to address those relationships individually so that they can honor and they can respect. And one of the things that we worked on in Getting the Love You Want is we recreated our vision and had an opportunity to spend some time with some of his family a couple weeks ago. And as we were sitting there, he told me, he was like, Zenda, we're showing our family our agape love. And when he said that, I was like, dang, that was our vision 6 months ago. And so now for, us to share space here in Naples and for my parents and my family to see that putting my ego aside has been huge in that control piece because it's that faith. And like I told my girlfriend yesterday, it's like all of this is not happening to me, it's happening for me. And it's about me learning the lessons. And one of those lessons is I love that guy, and nope, I'm not perfect, neither is he, but the ability and the humility of him demonstrating his desire to like, no, I'm not giving up on my wife. I love you, you're my person. But to verbalize that when in 26 years that had never been the case, that ain't nothing but God. That's his healing. That's his evolving. However, and again, not making it about like I did this so, but it was my healing that made the space and to demonstrate and to show with grace and not judgment and not beating him over the head with stuff and allowing it to just happen. And it flows. It really does. Yep. Yep.
SS and just, again, I've said it before and I will say it again. It is an absolute gift to be a witness to everything that you have said because, I've had a front row seat, like I was with you that night in December and I was with you in January and I have been with you physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, just as a space holder,
Yeah.
as you two have navigated this, and I've watched you two both just transform. And, I've been Team Thomas since day one. So, you know what I mean? Like, just holding that space for both of you individually and collectively, and watching the work that y'all have put in, and being again honored at both of y'all presence at my baby's baby shower. To have you both come and in that support and that love. And both of y'all have been there in those big moments. And I got a picture last week because today is now whatever day, it's Wednesday, of y'all two, and it's like it's visible. Even in a
Mhm.
picture, it's visible. Y'all smiles, y'all eyes, like it's a still image that speaks volumes.
Oh,
And
wow. Thank
so
you.
yeah, it's a gift. So thank you for sharing that with whoever tunes in. But like, this is real life, this is real work, this is real transformation, this is real healing. This is not pretty, this is not IG shiny, this is authentic, this is deep, deep spiritual, like stuff that you can't see with the natural eye.
Right.
And I think it's just a testament to what gets to happen when you're not focused on what things look like or performing, or like you're willing to step back and go
Right.
inward and do what it takes to get to this place that y'all are at. So as always, like, I tip my hat, and I feel honored, like I said, to have been just a witness to what y'all are doing and building and growing the evolution of the Thomases.
Thanks.
Yeah, seriously. Um, so mm, this year, ooh, this year has asked me to release the past. Um, yeah, it has asked me to release the past. It has asked me to let go of um it has asked me to let go of what I think life should be, what I think life should look like. Um, and it has asked me to release my pride.
Mm,
Um, it has asked me to release it's asked me to shed, really. There's a lot of stuff going on right now about 2025 being the year of the snake. And it's interesting because if you've been a viewer of Easy Talks, my SS and I were talking about my relationship with snakes like a year ago, and how I was feeling called, like they were just coming up. And one of my vision boards over here that my dog, bless his heart, CJ, has used as a chew toy, um, had a couple snakes on it. This vision, this huge board that I created that like just takes up part of my wall. Um, and it's asked, yeah, a lot of shedding. And what keeps coming back to remembrance is when I was sat down a few years ago, and was, went to the underworld, I feel like. If you know of the heroine's journey, um, I went down, 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 deep, 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 deep. And one of the biggest things that I've been working on is like I'm trying to get back there. Like I'm trying to be that girl, that woman, that one. And so these flashes of remembrance were like, remember when you got sat down? Remember the path that you were on and you needed to be sat down? Like what are we doing this year? Like I what do you want? And I feel like that is one of the things that has, again, and it's so interesting because I have a word of the year every year, and 2025's word was surrender. And I don't know why, like I don't pick the word just comes to me. And these last this month of December has been like, girl, what are you? Surrender. Remember, surrender. And so I guess that's too part of like releasing control, releasing expectations. I do have the gate 42 as my life's work, and as my unconscious Jupiter. So I'm like, Erica, like, remember, expectations is the shadow, detachment is the gift, celebration is the city. Release these expectations. And yeah, so I'm like, I think that's the other thing too, is releasing. And just too, like, it's really like part of me wishes I had something so beautiful like USS, and the other part of me is like, this is the real and the rawness, of this is why we easy, because there's my story and there's your story and there's our story. And for me, like, this year has been hella dark. And it has been hard AF. And like I was hoping that like it would end in something so visibly beautiful. And what I get instead is something internally beautiful. And that is where I get to land and where I get to be. Like, I have been shaken. I, again, am in a place where I don't know what I'm doing in my business. I don't know what I'm doing as a mother, and I do not know what I'm going to do in my marriage. And I'm just here, like, again, down on my knees, and this gets to be a beautiful place. So it is 11:39, so we're going to finish with the finale of the third question.
And let's just add in like full transparency, like the aspects are beautiful, but it's dark, right? But the thing is to still have that light in the dark. And like my mom constantly says, like it's not about what's happening to you, it's about how you respond. So with all of the things, it's still like it's about the response. It's about shining that light. It's about reframing those thoughts. Like, yep, I don't have control over this, but I can either be miserable with about not having any control, or I could say I don't have control, and that's the beauty of. I'm releasing that. I'm allowing flow, and I'm gonna trust my path as it unfolds. It's not happening to me. It's happening for me. So understand, we both are still navigating some, things, but it's about the gratitude of where we are and what has happened in 25. Um, and the versions of us of who we started as 25 and 25 we're not those same versions as we get ready to conclude 25 and start not only a new year, but a whole new 9 year cycle. So when you look at who we were 9 years ago to who we are now, just imagine the dopeness 9 years from now. As we enjoy moments, as we co create, as we sit back, as we continue to release ego, shadow, control, and all of that. Just imagine.
Yeah, and to just
So,
piggyback on that, shout out to Mama Z. That is one thing that I do have gratitude for also because, you know, not to toot my own horn, but toot toot. Like for what I have been enduring this year, like I'm fully here. Like that's the part where, like I said, the gratitude gets to come
yeah,
in because
yeah.
like when we talk about where we have been in this journey, like I am fully here. Like one of the things that I've talked about a lot is like my face breaks out really bad when I am not taking care of myself and when I'm stressed the F out and when all of these things are happening. And my skin has been glowing. And my baby's 4 months old. So it's not the pregnancy glow anymore. This is me. Like I'm not balled up in a corner. I have not had an episode this year, knock on wood.
You're
Um,
not.
you know what I mean? Like, and the things that I have gone through, like this year, like legit had like this year right here, and I am here. Like I have showed up, I have done all of the things, and not
Uh,
this things, but these things. Like I'm here. I love me. I'm like so that is one thing, like is how I have responded, how I have shown up, how I am learning to use my voice, how I am not engaging. When you come for me and I did not send for you, instead of popping off all the time, I like I have been doing really well. Like
so
and
thank you
again,
for acknowledging that because I felt like you were like, cuz, it was dark. And I'm like, hold on, pause.
yeah,
Let's
yeah,
refine that. So, yes,
yeah. And I
absolutely.
mean, just like pop off city, it's not been pop, it's like pop off village now. You know what I mean? Like it's very small. It's not a whole like, city, town. It's not none of that. And so like that is where the beauty is too, and realizing like I am on one right now. I'm on one. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me. If you say something to me, I'm gonna go there. And just having that recognition instead of after. And again, like it's the both and, but
Yeah.
I have been doing so much better. And so just to give credit where credit is due, because that is important. I am responding in ways that I never have. And especially like with these attacks that are coming at me, look, like even the narrative in my head, like, because there are some dark things that I have wanted to do to people, really one person specifically.
Mhm.
And I have not done it. And like when I was thinking about last night in the shower, I was thinking about karma and I was thinking about like, you're gonna get what comes to you and woo woo woo. across the board to different people, I said, you know what? Mm-mm. I pray for grace.
Mm-hmm.
I too am not perfect, and I don't want you to eat this. So guess what? All of these seeds that you're planting, and I'm like, you gonna reap your harvest. Guess what I want to do? I'm a sprinkle goodness. I'm gonna ask
Yep.
for blessings. So I know that you planted what you planted, and you know what? No, goodness, blessings,
Yep.
forgiveness,
Absolutely.
grace, the most high. This is what I want. So I don't want no ill will towards nobody. And
Right.
I don't want anyone to have to, go. I don't want that for nobody. We are all where we are and we are all doing our best. And I ask for favor and I ask again for grace. I ask for mercy. I ask for blessings. I ask for protection. I ask for the highest and the best instead of that narrative of vengeance is not mine. No, vengeance is not mine and it is the Lord's, but we serve a loving God. We serve
Right.
a forgiving God. We serve a God who knows our hearts. And even if we take action that is from a place of malice or that causes hurt or pain to another, you know what, you too are still worthy of being blessed, and you still are highly favored by the Most High. And I get to have my feelings and I get to
Yep.
feel it and I get to be impacted, and I don't want your blessings to be blocked. So that's the other part too. But again, it's 11:45, so let's jump into the third question.
Okay.
As you stand at the threshold of a new year, what truth are you carrying forward? Not as a goal, but as a way of being.
Mm, the truth that I am carrying forward is God wants me to have my highest and my best and always. And I mean, just across the board. And for that to be, I need to always engage from my truest version. And that is going to be honoring taking care of myself, mind, body, spirit, and um, staying silent as I move. Because what I know about me and what I've learned about me and what I know that I know that I know is that in that quiet, in that hermit space, beauty and magic is made and happens when I am still, when I pause, and being still and having a pause, having praying, my Reiki, my yoga, all the modalities, just a lot of solitude that allows me to be my best version so that when I am called organically and divinely to show up, to be present for people, um, I am my truest self. I am my best self. I'm honoring my design. Um, the only unique way that only I can. So I think that's it.
Mm, I love that. And so I need to bring this up because you know what we do when we do what we do with human design. So you steady talking, and I'm like, she has to have the gate of stillness in her chart. Like all this talk about stillness and whoa, whoa, whoa. I know it's in the root center. She gotta have it, and she does. Of course you have it. So it is your conscious Mars. And I love this so much because conscious Mars, well, Mars energy, unconscious Mars is like your core womb that turns into your vocation, like the work that you're here to do. But conscious Mars is still like that same energy. And it's about like taking these lessons, taking these situations, learning from them and implementing them. A little bit different than Saturn, but still like these experiences. And so I just love that you're talking about this gate so beautifully and so eloquently, and we get to see how it shows up in real life, real time. Like
Mm.
this is you. This is your design, like living through you. This is life by design. So I love that for you so much, SS.
Yeah.
So for me, what truth am I carrying forward, not as a goal, but as a way of being, is like the thing that comes up for me is just love. Love, 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 love of myself, love of others, and just remembering the heartbeat. Like that, I don't know when it came, but that heartbeat to heartbeat and looking past and through behaviors and actions and all of that and remembering the heartbeat, the heartbeat, the heartbeat and moving from that space of love, and being the light and sharing the light, um, because at the end of the day, real life, like you don't know what people are out here going through. And my December started in a way that rocked my whole entire world. Um, and it sat me down. It really sat me down. And that gentleman, that is something that happened for me. To see him, to discover him. Um, and to remember my why. People are out here going through it, and I don't need to give them judgment. I don't need to give them um, anger and frustration and try to put what I think they should and shouldn't and all of that other extraness on them, in all of the ways, because people are out here, like I said, going through it. And to give someone love, to offer someone love, whether I know you, whether I don't know you, it doesn't matter. You deserve love. And if I, like you said, SS, if I am loving me, if I'm treating myself like I love myself, if I'm honoring myself through love, then I have that as overflow to give to others. And that's really what I want to do. That is who I want to be. I want you to feel the love. I want you to see the love. And I want you to be enveloped by the love, when we share space.
Mhm.
Um, Even just in passing, even if it's two cars driving by each other, that's what I want to embody and be and share. So,
Mhm.
um, before we close, SS, can you please leave our viewers with a journaling prompt?
Mm. Yes, I can. So as we wrap up easy for December 2025, the final Easy Talk of 2025 for the year. Yay! Kudos to us, 12 months showing up. I offer us, as well as our viewers, whoever will come across this video at any point, even if it's not today, down the road, I offer you an opportunity to look at the past 9 years. And as you look at like literally sit in a space, hand over heart, hand over solar plexus, your belly. Take a inhalation for 4, pause for 4, and exhale. Do that 3 times. And as you do this at the start of your prompt, in that breath work, think about who you were over the last 9 years. Think of the things that derailed you and think of things that really empowered you. And as you sit in that empowerment, think about those things that you're going to take forward and create a plan for how you will incorporate that empowerment into your daily practices. Create affirmations, create words, create a practice, if you will, that is going to help sustain and maintain you as you navigate 2026. Um, Remembering to embrace moments to love yourself so that you can ripple the things that you desire and it'll ripple to others and all that you come in contact with.
All right, y'all. So thank you so much for this time. Thank you so much for this space. Again, whether you tuned in for a minute, 30 minutes, or the whole duration, thank you for being here. You matter. We are grateful that you're here, and be safe in the new year. Be safe tonight, whatever festivities you engage in. Um, and yeah, thank you for another year of being with us for Easy Talks.
Yeah.
Enjoy the gift of today. And even though I'm closing, SS, what would you like to offer to them?
I would like to offer you all a resource and a tool as you are working on your wellness and well-being. Of course, I'm going to talk about The Audacity to Be my book on Amazon. But I want you to, if you have an opportunity, and please put this link in our easy chat summary box or whatever. But the whole Ho'oponopono journaling experience that my sis created. It's a deep delve into that, creating that self love, the whole Ho'oponopono experience, the Hawaiian prayer, forgiveness prayer. I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me, thank you. Maybe not in that order, but however. So if you could please put that in there, and I offer you an opportunity to support my sis, not just because she's my sis, but in this tool that will really help you to dig deep. I'm continuing to work in that journaling experience, and it's really doing some deep hard work. So make sure you put that link in there.
All right. Well, that's it. That's all, y'all. Until next year. Boop, boop, boop.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year.
See you.